Hey everyone, so we're back looking at the ElfBallv deck again, and I apologize that I haven't been able to make more videos sooner. Just real life stuff, family stuff, work stuff, so I am trying to get them out as soon as possible, but just carving out time's a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be. But I have been thinking about the deck quite a bit lately, and one of the things that I remember from a long time ago, and I had to actually Google it to make sure I had the theory right, was the theory that it was called the fundamental turn theory. Is that basically every aggro deck and every combo deck has a fundamental turn where it wins the game. If anyone is used to playing old Tempest Sly with Jackal Pups and Mog Fanatics, Fire Blasts, Lightning Bolts, Curse Scroll, you'll probably remember that pretty much that deck, if went unchecked, would win on turn 4. Also, if anybody remembers like Combo Winter during the Academy days, or Necro Donate, or even Flash. I didn't play during Flash, but looking at the deck, looking at how it was built and how it ran, even though it did have the possibility of turn 0 wins, I believe. Those fundamental deck turns, or when those decks were going to win, were typically like anywhere from turn 2 to turn 3. And when thinking about Pauper, I always go back to Teps, because that's, if you've ever seen, or if you're viewing any of the other videos on my channel, a lot of them are Teps. I like Teps. It's got a lot of powerful cards in it, and you just have some auto wins against a lot of decks. And really, the fundamental turn for Teps decks, I would say, is 3.5 to 4. And by that, I mean by turn 4, if you haven't won the game, or you've not interacted with the deck in any way via either hand destruction or land destruction, typically turn 4 they're always going to win, and there's not going to be a whole lot you can do about it. So when I was thinking about this elf deck through these last couple of days, I realized what we'd really like to do is turn back or push back the fundamental turn of other decks, basically when they could win. And the way that we can actually do that, since we're running green-blue, we don't really have any hand destruction, but we do have land destruction. And it just so happens that land destruction is actually fairly good against one of the more prevalent deck types, and that's 8-post. Pretty much in any variation, whether it be red-blue, or I've seen some blue-green variants, some black-blue variants. Now, those particular decks don't necessarily have a fundamental turn where they're going to win in one shot. But typically, if it makes it to turn 6 or 7, they've pretty much won the game. So if you can actually delay them hitting their normal, say, mana card drawing until turn 9 or 10, then what you've done is you actually set back their fundamental turn rate, 6 to 4 turns. The same thing with, say, when you're playing against Teps, or even Infect. Infect has to have a force to run Invigorate. It has to have some sort of mana to run their pump spells. So even if you can delay it by a turn or two, and your deck, the ElfBallv deck, still functions on a fundamental turn of, say, my testing of the deck, I feel that the deck pretty much wins on anywhere from turn 5 to turn 6. So if you can push back the fundamental turns to those turns, you should be able to win the game. So what I'd actually like to do is, I know we've made lots and lots of changes with not a whole lot of test games, but I pretty much said this every change that I've made. I feel that these changes will be better for the deck as a whole. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to remove the Weirwood Prides. I think I'm just going to move them to the sideboard for right now. I'm actually going to add Thermal Karst to the main deck. Also Elvish Guidance. I'm going to take out, and I'm going to put in Acid Moss. I believe that's what it's called. One Ruli Acid Mosses to the deck. Another thing that I'm going to take out is Elvish Herder. I don't believe, I think it was good in theory when I was looking at them. They still might be prevalent later. But right now what I'd actually like to do is put in Essence Warden. Newmont Flame from MTG Salvation made the he made the comment that most of the decks that he had seen ran Essence Warden, and running Essence Warden actually shores up a couple of areas where I've been having problems, and that's when Sultry Priest comes down, or maybe even giving me an extra turn versus Storm if they're going for the Empty the Warrens win. Even the red-blue Empty the Warrens deck, Essence Warden, 2 Essence Warden is pretty much a lock unless they draw a double Bushwhacker and enough guys to swarm you that particular turn. So I'm actually going to add 4 Essence Wardens to the main deck. And now we're sort of becoming less combo oriented. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to take out 1 Distant Melody and 1 Acid Moss, even though you want to draw as much disruption as you can. Having another forecasting cost thing to top deck maybe later in the game may not be the best. So again, it's just testing. And I'm just going to run 3 at the moment. As far as the sideboard goes, again, it's not going to be real tuned at all, and what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to add the rest of the moment's pieces to the sideboard for now, just so I have a 15-card sideboard to play against, or to use, even though I may not bring all of them in. So I'm going to go back to the tournament practice room, see if anybody is waiting. Unfortunately, nobody is. But if you're not familiar with the fundamental turn theory, you can just Google it. Just Google MTG fundamental turn, and there's plenty of articles out there. It is kind of an old article, but I still believe the theory itself is sound. I wish we had, for those old school players, Ice Storm. If you remember Ice Storm, it's basically a green Stone Rain. We get Phoenix Fire 21, so we'll say well, good luck, and we'll see how this goes. We win a die roll, so that's good. We even have a second turn land destruction, so we'll see how it goes depending upon what deck we play against. I'm kind of hoping he actually plays a Cloud Post first turn. We haven't seen too many Cloud Posts in the tournament practice room. I'm not sure why. It is one of the better decks, I feel. Okay, so this is either going to be Red-Blue Storm or Fairies. I'm trying to think of the best way to attack the deck, because the thing is I don't want to get dazed, but we'll just risk it. Well, that was good for us. May not be Fairies. Nope. So he might be Delver. So he's either Fairies or Blue-Red. Blue-Red. I'm trying to think here. I'm hoping he pushed all of his land to the bottom. I didn't see actually what he did with his... he put to the bottom, So I'm hoping he pushed a bunch of land to the bottom. That would be ideal. I'm going to go ahead and play Nettle Sentinel. Typically I would just try to attack with Land of Werewolves and trade, but I don't think it's necessary. Even if you flip Delver Secrets, I'm going to be able to outrace him. Not familiar with the blue-white Delver Secrets deck. Alright, so we're going to cast the rest of our guys here, and actually we're going to bash with the elves. And actually we can't attack with the elves, I just realized, and cast Priest of Titania this turn. We definitely want to get priest down in case we draw some way to get a blue. Missing a point on damage. We'll see if that comes back to haunt me. Alright, let's see if he's going to flip. Counterspell. That is fine considering he doesn't have any islands. And if he wants to race, that's fine too. With the active Timberwatch, actually, he doesn't really have any profitable blocks. So yeah, even though he's not in great shape, he doesn't really have much of a choice. Alright, so another Timberwatch is pretty good. But we are actually just going to attack with everything. Let's see. My only problem with adding another guy, let's see, 6, 12. 15, we're 1 damage short. So, of course, that 1 damage I missed with the elf, you know, I would have been able to win this turn if I'd gotten in that point of damage with that elf. So, that is unfortunate. But we're still going to go ahead and bring him as low as possible. Just going to tap this and this. Alright, I don't really think there's too much you can draw. Echoing Truth doesn't do anything. Unless he's got Quadruple Snap, Vapor Snag, and Sunlance. I think we're okay. Or maybe he's got 4 Cloud of Fairies, Double Snap. Well, we know he can't have that because one of them is a counter spell. But, you know, you never know. Stranger things have happened. Nope. I didn't think he had too many outs. Okay. He just conceded, which was unfortunate. But we'll start another game. Yeah, 5-2 flyer, second turn. That's going to be pretty rough for just about any deck. We have Hazero. Unfortunately, no mana. This looks okay, not great. It's going to be a little slow. Black decks, unfortunately, are probably our worst matchup. Because we're probably going to get Ravenous Rat. And then I have to ditch a Priest. Peerless Mirror. Unfortunately, we can't really do anything with Perilous Mirror. Do have 3 mana though. Kind of want to get a Priest out here. Hoping he maybe Chittering Rats. That guy gets in all day long. Because he will basically always be a 2-for-1. Hopefully not Crypt Rats. That would be bad. This is bad. Really would have preferred Ravenous Rats. Could have got rid of Thermal Caution in this particular case since he's already at 3 mana. My guess is he was going to take Distant Melody. That's what I would take. Seems a little strange because I could easily still draw 4, 5, 6. I just want to see how much mana I'm going to get. Just want to make sure I can double Thermal Karst. So 4, 5, 6. Alright. So I can only attack with Quirion Ranger. Losing Quirion Ranger back for Sylvan Ranger is not that bad for me. Although I doubt he's going to block. Well, the unfortunate part is I believe he will keep Perilous Mirror back now. I'm really hoping he does not lay a Karoo land, because that would make me sad. Unfortunately, Perilous Mirror does own me. I'm a little hesitant to add more elves, just because if he does have a sweeper, I don't want to be left with nothing. Although getting Sylvan Ranger would be the most Faceless Butcher. Okay, he's actually probably not too much mass removal, just because he's got so many of the interplay guys. That's a bummer. I have a feeling I'm going to draw my blue source next turn. More Faceless Butchers. I think I'm just going to say okay here, actually. It's not like I'm under any sort of a heavy duress. But if he attacks with Faceless Butcher this time, I'm actually going to block. The reason for it is it's just strictly 1-for-1 cards. I actually get a land out of it. If he's going to use the Haunted Fengraf. So, to me that's fine. I make him waste some mana, even though he doesn't have anything to waste his mana on this turn. Okay, this guy I'm actually going to hold on to only because he's probably going to get Faceless Butcher back and take Priest back. And if I draw a Distant Melody next turn, I want to make sure that I can cast it with blue mana. It's a little strange he didn't cast Faceless Butcher before he attacked. I guess not. He just gets to choose or make sure that he gets a Priest. So he has one unknown card. Yay, Distant Melody. I really wish we had Priest of Titania, but we don't. So what do I want to keep open? I guess it really doesn't matter. Let's see. What do we want to do here? Let's lay Essence Warden, Clearing Ranger. And then we want to, let's see, tap for blue, untap, untap. I think we're a mana short of actually casting another Distant Melody, which is unfortunate. We get 1 mana, 2, 3. We're 1 short, so we're actually just going to say go. Hope he doesn't have another Duress. I'm afraid that's what he was actually holding on to, but you know, not much we can do about it. Maybe I shouldn't have cast the Essence Warden. Mesmeric Fiend, same thing. No, we're still 1 mana short. Kind of need now see, in this particular instance, the Branch Benders would have been good this turn, or against this particular deck. Unfortunately, I feel most matchups are not that great. I'm also pretty sure he's just mono black, so that's good. Again, part of the reason I want to cast this guy is I just want to thin my deck of more lands. I just don't want any more lands to be coming. In this particular instance, I can actually just chump block. That is not good for me. See what he does here, though. So he gets up to 5/5. He had Last Grasp. Maybe not the choice I would take, but see what he wants to do here. With Carrion Feeder out there now, I'm actually just going to chump block Perilous Mirror. Don't have actually a whole lot of outs. I think if I would have been on the play, this game would have gone a lot differently. But yep, that's how it goes. You have to win the roll, play or draw. You're not always going to get to start, so killing land over elves is fine. Priest of Titania. Let's see here. Well, now unfortunately I have to pretty much block with everything. Actually, I'm not going to block with that because I'm going to get a Priest of Titania back, so. Thankfully you can't stack combat damage anymore because that would absolutely wreck me. I'm not a big fan of getting 2 for 1, but you know. Hopefully he gets a Mesmeric Fiend. What do I got, a 50-50 shot on that? Yep, he can get Perilous Mirror and just kill me. See what he does. Well, little too late. But better late than never. Hoping he gets Mesmeric Fiend. Come on, Mesmeric Fiend. Yeah. 1 for the good guys. So he's got Mesmeric Fiend in his hand. Which is fine because all I have are lands. That is A-OK. I'm a little concerned that he might draw another Perilous Mirror, so I may, I don't necessarily want to chump block. I'm not sure I can actually. I think I can. I think I'll be alright. If I can just draw another elf. But I definitely need to keep Quirion Ranger out there. Yeah, this is fine. I just need to make sure I just draw another elf next turn. The reason I got rid of Priest 2 is because we don't have any more Distant Melodies unless he randomly attacks with Mesmeric Fiend, which I doubt he's going to do. So I'm trying to think here. Definitely want to attack. Since he doesn't have any cards in hand, I don't have to worry about that. So let's see what he does here. Part of the reason I want to attack, well, we get a free Timberwatch activation out of it basically with Quirion Ranger. The other thing is I want to try to shorten the game now as fast as possible. He could draw double removal, another Faceless Butcher, another Perilous Mirror. Even though Perilous Mirror doesn't kill Timberwatch because he can pump himself. I have problems that he would draw a double Perilous Mirror or just swarm me, which would not be good. So we'll see what he's going to do here. But we definitely got very, very lucky on the what is this thing called? The Haunted Fengraph, where you got back Mesmeric Fiend instead of Perilous Mirror or the other Faceless Butcher. So, alright, well, he didn't attack, so that's good for us. So we get another Fiendhorn Elf, which is good. And I only want to attack with one guy, and the reason for that is because I don't want to leave Timberwatch Elf vulnerable. I always want to make sure I have at least one activation for him, in case he has some sort of instant spell removal. Which is not going to do it here. I just realized if he kills it in response. You know, I think we just gotta risk it. Because making him tap 2 mana on his turn is not going to be the end of the world for him, so. Well, I will say I think we got lucky there. I'm not sure, maybe I should just went for the kill, right? No, he would have been at 1. I guess maybe it would have been beneficial to attack with both, because then he would have had to have blocked. And he actually can't block with Carrion Feeder, so this turn actually we're going to attack with everything because we win. Even if he has instant speed removal, we actually still win, since he actually laid a swamp. He would have back-to-back basically 2 instant removal spells to win the game. So I feel we got kind of lucky. By kind of lucky, I mean really lucky. Because we had basically 1 in 3, 66% chance that we would have lost the game when he was returning those either Faceless Butcher, Peerless Mirror, or Mesmeric Fiend. I definitely think I want Vines. And I think I want Spider Silk Armor. Kind of want to get rid of the Acid Mosses. Spider Silk Armor is not that great. But it does allow us to eventually possibly get out his -3/-3 Last Grasp removal. So, and I don't feel Thermokarst is great in this particular matchup, and I'm just going to try a Weirwood Pride. We'll see. Unfortunately, I feel that he's probably going to bring in more -1 removal, like Shrivel. I think Shrivel is what it's called. Possibly Festering Creeps, Echoing Decays. There's plenty of -1/-1 to all creatures for black, so hopefully we can get an early Spider Silk Armor down, maybe negate a lot of that, but we'll see. He did get kind of a slow start. I didn't really see what else he had. He had Peerless Mirrors, Mesmeric Fiends. I'm trying to think of other creatures he might have, or other removal. Last Grasps. That is unfortunate. It's the second time in about as many games that I've drawn that lone island and not a forest. Although even if we did have a forest, that's not necessarily a keeper for us. This really is not a great hand for us either. And the reason for that is because all we have are mana producers and land. We'd really like to see... his deck is not fast though either, so I'm actually going to keep this. Like if you were playing against Storm or Infect, I would say you would have to throw this hand back because it's basically not... you wouldn't be able to win. Like you would pretty much have to draw picture perfect to win that matchup. The reason why I don't mind this trade is because I want to keep my priests safe. So in this particular instance, trading Peerless Mirror for 2 damage is fine by me, because really after I start getting a bunch of elves in play, he's pretty much unblockable. So it probably saves me a lot more damage than if he just sat there and attacked each and every turn. Him not attacking is, or him not casting anything is very good for us. Unfortunately, it probably means that he's going to have a last grasp for this priest. But quite honestly, we just sort of need to cast him. So let's see what he casts here. He didn't really have anything for 3 mana last game, although I wouldn't be surprised if he had return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. So we get to see another Peerless Mirror, and this guy has flying, so Spider Silk Armor will not be entirely useless. The reason I'm actually casting Land Grant this time is because I don't want him to see that I have Distant Melody, although, you know, if he's going to cast Mesmeric Fiend or anything else next turn, you know, it was all for naught. But, or if he top decks Duress, because he had main deck Duresses last time, so it would not surprise me if he cast Mesmeric Fiend or Duress this turn. So he's just keeping the priest off the table, which is honestly what he should be doing. I'm trying to think if now in this particular case I actually would like to keep Sylvan Ranger in play. So we're just going to cast Sylvan Ranger, and then hopefully we can get, hopefully next turn we can get another 1 casting cost elf, and Distant Melody for 4. That would be ideal. But, you know, again, unfortunately, we give him another turn to possibly draw Duress or Mesmeric Fiend, although I feel that he's got a lot of removal. Since he didn't cast anything at 2, where there was a turn where he had 2 mana and didn't cast anything, he's either got more Cadaver Imps, or I don't even know what this guy is. converted mana cost of 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So he gets back more Perilous Mirrors. This was a good and bad card to draw. The thing is, I feel that he's got more removal in his hand. And so instead of wasting an entire turn, I'm actually going to cast Distant Melody, even though it's going to be for 1 less. And I just draw a bunch more Timberwatch Elves. Okay, so drawing more Timberwatch Elves. I don't know if we're going to have enough time to set these up. We'll definitely see. Typically, I would want to keep as many elves in play as possible. The problem is that we don't have that kind of time. We can't take 5 each turn. And this guy, blocking this guy now is actually beneficial to us, even though it is a 2-for-1. It could possibly be, you know, a 4-for-1 or 4-for-1. Not sure, a 4-for-1, 3-for-1. Due to the fact that we'd have to block with 2 guys. Well, I guess it could be a 4-for-1. He would get Perilous Mirror back in most circumstances, and then, you know, I'd have to block Perilous Mirror again. Then he'd be able to get another extra 2 damage through. So we're going to cast a bunch of Timberwatch Elves. I think this is the only game where I kind of wish I had Strider Harness back in the deck, just because we could give our guys protection. I don't think he's going to have any flash guys I have to worry about. Echoing Decay would be very bad for me. Just as I say it. Should have realized that. That was probably... We even talked about it as we were sideboarding, that he was probably bringing in Echoing Decay due to the elves. So... should have maybe thought that through a little bit more. Yep, Faceless Butcher. So, he probably still has more. He hasn't laid a land in a couple turns. So I'm guessing he's got still 2 more removal spells. Because he has not, he hasn't cast any discard spells yet. Unfortunately, I can't block anything. And basically, if he kills these last 2 guys, well, that's pretty much it. My only hope is to keep both guys in play and cast Distant Melody. Okay, so we were right about 1 card. He did have another Cadaver in his hand, but he didn't have anything to return initially. Alright, well, Essence Warden is pretty good for us, but the first thing we want to do is cast Distant Melody. Actually, that is not correct. We wanted to cast the Elf first. So, don't mind me not knowing what I'm doing. So, when you think about this now, what do we want to do? Essence Warden. Birchlore Ranger. Tap for blue mana. Tap for 4. Null Sentinel. So we should have 1 more card. think I'm just going to risk it. Even though we do have an active Timberwatch Elf. I'll go ahead and cast this priest. And now we'll say go. Guess we could have attacked Timberwatch Elf, used our Weirwood Pride this turn. Not a terrible idea, but I feel next turn we're going to be able to actually win. Sacrifice a creature. That is okay. We're not so concerned about Peerless Mirror now. I guess it's actually pretty good with Weirwood Pride. If he tries to respond to me untapping Timberwatch Elf, we can at least save him. Even though I'd rather get through for an extra 8 damage. Drawing a bunch of forests is not great. We don't really need the Priests of Titania anymore since we have pretty much all of our mana. Probably don't need the Borchlore Rangers anymore, but we do need Quirn Ranger and Timberwatch Elf and Essence Warden. So we're going to go ahead and attack with all of our guys. And we'll see who he blocks. Still has 3 cards in hand, so one of them is the 3/2 guy that brings, I think it was 2 creatures back, right? But he costs 4 mana, so unless he gets another converted mana cost 2 or less. Okay, these are all fine. All this blocking is fine. Okay, so he's not going to block that Nettle Sentinel, which I think is a mistake. Because now we're just going to pump the hell out of him. Not sure if he didn't see that, or he's just not familiar playing against Quirn Ranger. But he's definitely dead now. Because if he would have had a Last Grasp, he would have used it prior. So, that was a good game. Unfortunately, pretty much what I've said every time I've changed the deck is I like the changes. But this time I feel that we're addressing we're focusing more on not what we feel the deck should be, but looking at the specific matchups that we're probably going to face, such as Teps, 8-post, and even some Infect. And I actually did play an interesting game against Infect, where he tried to Apostle's Blessing for the win by choosing green, and basically what happened was both rain cores fell off, and he could not pump his guy. So that was a learning experience for me. It didn't really dawn on me that he wouldn't be able to pump his guy because all of his pump spells are green, and also that all the rain cores would fall off. So that matchup I'm not as worried about. I believe that we can effectively side in enough hate as far as either fog effects go to win the races. Even though from what I've seen, the Infect deck brings in like Hornet Sting, and that may or may not be standard. I'm not sure, but so hopefully either tomorrow or the next day I should be able to get a couple more games in. The next time I'm going to go ahead and redo the sideboard a little bit to get the numbers in line with what we'd like, as far as what we want to take out, what we want to put in, how we want the deck to look after specific matchups. And but I don't think I'm going to change the main deck anymore. Maybe one or two cards, such as adding back in the 4th Distant Melody, and also possibly the 4th Acid Moss, and taking out one of the other cards, which I'm not really sure about just yet, but I'll think about it some more during the day. So thanks for watching. Bye.